Hello one and all, welcome to Seeing Through Glass. That is the all-new electric Porsche Macan. Now I'm sure you know the Macan's been pretty successful for Porsche over the last 10 years or so. I think they make like 80,000 of them a year. About a quarter of the cars that Porsche sells each year are Macans. So it feels like a pretty big step for them to make this all-new generation all electric. Actually such a big step that I'm not sure Porsche are that confident in it, because even here in the UK, where we're pretty adopting of EVs, you can actually still go out and buy the old combustion engine Macan, like new from the factory, today, right now. I think we'll revisit that topic a little bit later. Now there are plenty of videos online of people testing this car accelerating from 0 to 60, talking about how dynamically capable it is on a back road, but those things don't really interest me because, well, firstly, show me a new electric car that isn't fast accelerating from 0 to 60, and secondly, I don't think historically Macan owners have bought these cars because they want a four-door 911. I think they want a premium, luxury, practical, good handling, well, yeah, desirable compact SUV. So what I thought I'd do is just live with the car for a few days and see how it handles mundane, everyday tasks. Sadly, my wife and daughter aren't here, so I can't do the kind of family test, but I do have my dog Twiggy and a busy weekend ahead where I can use this car and see if it lives up to the reputation of its predecessors. I want to dive in and kick things off straight away with the elephant that's in the room for any EV, and that is driving range. When this electric Macan launched, I was pretty intrigued because some of the claimed estimated range figures are pretty impressive. I think this Macan Turbo has the lowest estimated range, but it's still like 365 miles. And then the sort of basic rear-wheel drive electric Macan was claiming like 400 miles. And these are figures that can make an EV fit my lifestyle. I'm someone who does a lot of miles, but sporadically. I can't always charge at home overnight. I can't always rely on the public charging network. I'd need an EV that could do a lot of miles between charges. And heck, 365 or 400 miles, that sounds pretty good. I thought maybe the Macan could be the EV for me. But I collected this car yesterday from Porsche GB with 100% charge. And I can tell you that in the middle of November in the UK, when the exterior temperature is 9 or 10 degrees, my estimated range was 260 miles. Yeah. I will be honest, they're pretty truthful miles. Since I collected this car, I've done a bit of motorway driving, some fast A roads, a lot of city driving, and I've amassed a total of 67.9 miles so far, and my estimated range with 76% charge is 191 miles, which kind of takes me almost back to that initial 260 mile figure. And I will give Porsche the benefit of the doubt that, yeah, it's cold outside, we're not going to get the ultimate best figures, but being honest with all of you, I was disappointed when I got on this thing, started it up, and that number started with a 2 and not a 3. And then the other initial impression that I kind of quickly wanted to share was about this car's size. I think one of the best things about the old Macan, even though it's not old, because you can still buy one new, the combustion engined Macan, was its size. You could fit the family, the dog and all the luggage in, but it was compact. You could park it easily in and around town. If you got caught on a sort of narrow British B road, it was easy enough to sort of thread down a lane. It was just a really good size. This thing, well, it is bigger, and it feels it. When I sort of first got behind the wheel, I was like, ooh, this feels chunky. It's not massive, like lots of other cars have got much bigger over the last 5 or 6 years. And driving it around London, it's not scarily big. I can still go through width restrictions and I can still park it easily. But yeah, it's just gained a little cushion for the pushing. Think if you're in a combustion engine Macan and you just about squeeze it into your garage, or you fit it in a narrow parking space, and you're considering one of these, triple check the dimensions, because yeah, it just is a little bit noticeably bigger. But we'll see how that plays out over the days ahead. Anyway, I got a pretty boring day of meetings in town today and traffic is crap. So I'll get used to the car a little bit more, see how it behaves this afternoon, and then you'll join me tomorrow morning when hopefully we can have some slightly more intriguing adventures and I can report back on how the car fared in and around the big smoke. Well, good morning. Not a lot to report from my time in town with this car yesterday. It performed really well and it got a lot of attention. As we've been discussing, the Macan has been popular for so long. I don't know if it's people clocking this going, well, that's the new Macan, or whether it just looks like a funky new Porsche. There aren't many of these on the road yet, so maybe people were just like, ooh, what's that? Either way, lots of staring. It's got quite aggressive rear wheel steer, this car. I really noticed it yesterday manoeuvring around town. It makes the manoeuvrability kind of fantastic, but you really pick up on the fact that the rear wheels are getting in the mix. It kind of reminds me of the systems on the Mercedes EQ cars. You really notice it as you're turning the wheel. How are we doing on charge? 57% battery remaining, estimated range of 138 miles, I've done 115 miles in total. So we're slightly down on that initial 260 mile estimate, but we're doing fairly well. I'm headed out to the Cotswolds today. I've got lunch with a friend and I'm bringing Twiggy with me. It's 87 miles to the lunch spot. So I'm not concerned because of how truthful and honest the estimates have been. That'll be fine. And I believe there are high-speed rapid chargers at lunch. So even though we might be getting into Sport and Sport Plus mode today, I think we'll be fine. I'm not concerned. So yeah, let's hit the road and keep discovering this electric Macan.
Yeah.
Well, I've pulled over to take Twiggy for a quick walk before lunch. What an enjoyable car the electric Macan Turbo is to drive down the motorway. It's quiet in the cabin, the suspension is comfortable, the sound system is good. Yeah, just plod along. I would happily do 200 or 300 miles in one sitting if the battery could do it. It's lovely. Interestingly, the ride is, I wouldn't say it's firmed up since we've got on the back roads, but I'm definitely getting a bit more feedback through the ride. So it's not sort of super plush, but it's just nice. It's a nice car to drive. I want to quickly talk about the looks though. I'm still super undecided when it comes to the looks. I think I love the front end. Whenever I'm walking up to the car, approaching it from the front, I'm like, God, that thing looks amazing. I think I just kind of hate the rear. From the sort of front doors backwards, I'm like, ooh. I think it's a bit bulbous and chunky and unrefined. Yeah, maybe it'll grow on me, but I'm struggling with the kind of rear of the car. But we'll see. It has just been getting so much attention. Like every single car that went past me on the motorway, the passengers were like staring out the window. I could see people having a conversation. Oh, that's that. All that. So it's eye-catching, but I'm not sure I love it. Anyway, we'll have this walk and then we'll get to lunch and have a look at the charging situation, see the total amount of mileage I've done on this last charge and see how long it takes to charge up for my return journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's slightly concerning. Oh no. Oh no. Are these additional charging bays? Yes. They don't look particularly rapid though. Let's back the car in and see how we get on. Now, luckily, Porsche have given me a cable in this frunk. This additional frunk is actually quite useful when you keep my backpack in here, stuff like that. So, let's see if I can get this all hooked up. I believe that's the charging point there. Yeah, okay, so one of those like that, and then connect the vehicle, start contactless to start device. Okay, so vehicle is connected, that's that, and then where am I tapping contactless? Use the app. Use the app to charge. Well, this is confusing. Alright, I'm just going to double check that there's not a charging point at the BP petrol station, which is right next door. because yeah, usually I think BP have some charging points. How frustrating is that? Grid serve? Maybe they're newly installed or something like that, but yep, definitely not active. Okay, let's go around here. Any charging points at the BP? No. What a fail. Well, I guess this is something we're going to have to do after lunch. EV life, eh? Well, one delicious burger later, it is time to go and charge up this car. Now, Porsche very usefully gave me the logins for the Porsche app during my loan with this car so that I could identify charging locations. You actually get discounts via the Porsche app at certain charging locations, but the reason I wanted to use it is to identify high-speed chargers, because this car can charge at 270 kilowatts, and apparently means you can replenish the battery very quickly. So I found a location 15 miles away. We've got 27 miles of range, so starting to get a little bit clenchy of the butt. As long as it's all working when we get there, we should be fine, and it should be a cool opportunity to see just how fast this supposed fast charging really is. Well, this looks a bit more encouraging. Also looks quite busy, but I'm hoping there are some bays at the end there. These are supposedly 300 kilowatt chargers, so we should get some really fast charging here. There we go, these ones look free and empty, and yet they got a big old sign on them saying 300 kilowatts. Let's give this a go. I have kind of made it by the skin of my teeth. Look at that. Just 11 miles of range left, 7% of battery. I've done 225.8 miles since the last charge. So what is that? Real world, that's 236, 237 miles off a full charge. Anyway, let's plug it in and see how quick it is to recharge, because that would be a big consideration. No, there we go. Is there another charging point? Hold on a sec. That's a bit annoying. So there's two, because I need, that's super annoying. That's what I need for the fast charging. Right, I better, maybe it will reach. Let's see if it will reach. Around here. It's a little bit heavy and awkward. I think I can make it. Yeah, okay. Okay, great. Screen on the other side. Let's have a look. What does this say? So, start your charging session. Now, as these machines say, they're supposed to be capable of 300 kilowatts. The car should be able to charge at 270. So let's see when it kicks in what we're going to get. It's just figuring itself out, I believe. Hypercharging. Charging power, there you go, climbing up. 73, 87, 100, 114, 127. Come on, lad. I wonder if the car gives me a similar readout. Let's see what's going on in the car. Oh, look, that's flashing green. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, look at that, Twiggy. Wow, that's pretty cool, isn't it? We're fans of that. And then does it tell me, oh yeah, it tells me the speed. Okay, fine, I can sit in the nice warm environment in here. So are we gonna get, yeah, look at that. Charging target, 100% in, they're saying 14 minutes. I mean, this is a game changer, people. This is lovely. well, whilst this car charges up, I thought I'd come and check out the back, because I haven't sat back here yet, and it's pretty nice. I think that's my driving position. I've got lots of leg room, quite a lot of headroom too. I'd like this car to have a pan roof, because it feels a little bit dark and dingy back here, and even actually in the driver's seat, I felt like I wanted a bit more light in the cabin, but that's my only critique. Otherwise, yeah, pretty good. Something else I thought I'd talk about whilst the car is charging, which it's doing at a rapid rate. We have dropped down to like 200 kilowatts now, but it's still flying, is the price. I think I mentioned early on the price of these electric MACANs is more than the combustion engine variant, but not as much as I thought. Now this is the top of the range when it comes to electric MACANs, the turbo. This car, as tested, is like £108,000. It's too much. And I don't think you need the turbo. If I'm really honest, I don't think you need the turbo. So when it comes to electric MACAN, you've got the base model, which is a rear-wheel drive car. That starts at 68.5 grand. It's the most reasonably priced one. Still does 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, 360 PS. Then you have a 4 and a 4S. I think the 4S is the one to have. 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, 516 odd PS, 77 grand. It's about right. And I did spec one of those cars up. You don't have to go insane on spec. You can, of course, with Porsches, add loads of options. But I think I put on like 11 grand's worth of options. Let me see, where did my spec go? No, I put nearly 15 grand's worth of options on. Anyway, my final spec was 86 grand. Which is still a lot, but if you go over to the combustion engine cars, nowadays I think you have the standard car, the S and the GTS. That's your options, I believe, when it comes to the combustion engine range. Pricing for that, let's have a quick look. We've got 56 grand for the base car, only 265 PS. Then you've got a MACAN T. I forgot about the MACAN T, 61 grand. Then the MACAN S, 63 grand, 0-64.8 seconds, 380 PS, and then the GTS at 75 grand. So I spec'd a MACAN S. I thought that was the most potentially equivalent to the 4 that I was looking at in the electric range. And it came out basically 10 grand cheaper. 10 grand cheaper. And I do think there is £10,000 worth more of a car in this electric variant. I could quantify the 10 grand, because that older MACAN is now quite old. So, yeah. When it comes to electric cars here in the UK at least, I still think leasing is the way to go. I wouldn't want to own an EV in this market. You're just ending up with a depreciating asset that is terrifying. Lease-wise, some of the deals that I saw, 10 grand in, 8,000 miles a year across 3 years, it's going to be about £1,000 a month before you start putting options on. So make of that what you will. It's not cheap, but when you've got M3 Tourings at similar kind of money, yeah, feels about right. Anyway, we're nearly done. 56% in God knows what, less than 10 minutes. All in all, I ended up charging for around 35 minutes. There was a slight delay when I had to tap my credit card again because the charging went above the £40 initial pre-authorisation. Total cost was just over 55 quid for around 210 miles of range. Obviously, I could have charged at home the night before and avoided that cost, but I wanted to see what this new fast charging was like, and I was very pleasantly surprised. So I headed home and planned to get up early the next morning for a good old-fashioned cars and coffee. Well, it's been a fun morning down here at Duke of London for their Classics and Cake event. Regular viewers may remember that I used to have my STG HQ at Duke of London, but that was their old site, which has actually now been demolished as part of the area's rejuvenation. This is their new site, the top of a multi-storey car park, just around the corner from where they used to be. It's really cool, and it's been a great turnout. I have to say though, the reception to this electric MACAN has not been fantastic. Maybe it's the wrong audience. These guys are hardcore classic car enthusiasts. I kind of assumed some of them would be MACAN owners and therefore intrigued by this thing, but no. People have kind of dismissed it pretty quickly, so I'm running away. Which is a shame. I tried to convince some of them that it was better than they might expect, but anyway, we'll move on. And so yeah, head back out of the car park onto the roads with this car. So how do I sum up my experience with this electric MACAN Turbo? I mean, it's been really positive, actually annoyingly positive. I was kind of half expecting to not like this car that much, but I've actually really liked it. Like It's really good. If you are a current MACAN owner, I assume this car does all the things you would want a new version of the MACAN to do. I mean, even boot space. You know, a lot of these EVs have compromised boot spaces because most of the electrical gubbins lies kind of in that back area. But officially, the boot space on this car is bigger than the combustion engine MACAN's boot space. Some of that's down to like the nooks and crannies. They've cheated it slightly, but it is a good, big, usable space. I don't think you would struggle. As I've mentioned, it's super relaxing and comfortable to drive. We've touched on charging, and of course, really, if you're going to buy an EV, you need to and want to be able to charge at home, at which point this thing should charge up nice and easily and fairly cost effectively. So you're not going to have to rely on expensive public charging that much, but I've already touched on the benefits of the Porsche app. Like, you know, it's just quite a good news story. I do not think you need the turbo. But yeah, Sport and Sport Plus, the car handles very well. As you can probably tell, like my heart and soul have not been lit on fire. I'm not like, oh, this thing's amazing, but would I have one? I think I would have one. If there was some reassurance about residual values or future values, or if the leasing was a good deal, you know what, why not, I guess? Yeah, good. Is this a worthy new iteration of the MACAN? I think so. Thing is, I've never really been a MACAN customer, which is maybe why I'm not like, I need one of these things. It's just really good, and that's probably not a surprise. So it's just going to come down to whether you like this new design language, and whether you're ready for an EV, or whether you want to kind of hold out just a little bit longer and stick with the combustion engine variant, of which you do still have the option to do so, thanks to Porsche. I think which will be interesting is if a hybrid variant comes along. That could be worth considering. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Stay subscribed for plenty more videos to come.